All right, so in my system, about the most I can get through that little tiny aperture is about, 29, almost like 30 milliwatts. For a 30, it was 37 milliwatt beam, 36 milliwatt beam. And that's just because some of the beam gets clipped, going in. You can see that not all of the beam made it through there. Our beam is probably just a smidge too big to go through the modulator, but this aperture is actually a little bit smaller than the one in our actual electro-optic modulator. So when you're done and you've got all that set, basically, you just close over these, the top pieces. Actually, we'll have to go around the other side to get the screws to screw these in, but these top screws don't really do anything. They don't do any adjustment in terms of the alignment. All these top screws do is when you tighten them down, they actually lock the electro-optic modulator in place. Well, this is the alignment tool, so I don't really want to lock it in place. The hope is that when I go ahead and pluck in the electro-optic modulator, that it will fall in exactly the same spot on these little rubberized pads. That's the basic idea. So let me do that now. Oh, Russell, can you come here and hold this? Right now I've got the laser beam on, which is not best practice when I'm doing this. I'm going to just throw a little beam block up here so I don't kill myself. If you're going to do it this way, then, obviously, I don't normally do this with the beam on, but since I'm going to do this, I'm going to basically make sure that this thing's pointed down so that any stray reflections are going into the ground. Now remember that there's this piece up here that shoots towards the ceiling, so make sure that you've got something to catch whatever is going to come out of here. All right, but then basically you can just close over these top pieces and secure things in. On my system, the way the polarization is set up, that little tiny hole should be facing the ceiling. But depending on which polarization you decided to send into your modulator, and depending on how your modulator is made, it might actually be the opposite. Okay, now what did I do with those two little tiny screws? That's all this happens. I had two little tiny screws to screw in the modulator. Sorry. Come on, buddy. Help me out a little bit. Why is it not going in? These screws are... Got to loosen these to make sure there's enough room. Then you can hook back up your cords. So on mine, they're labeled. So there are 3 ports on my electro-optic modulator, but depending on what you have, you might have less. So like mine are labeled PM1, PM2, or P2M, and P3M that have corresponding ports on there. So let me just hook those up really fast. So this is the hardest one to do. I'll do that one first. No, I don't currently have the top screws on this little circular pattern are not currently screwed in, and you'll see why in a second. I'm going to need to have a rotational degree of freedom to finish the alignment. I'll loosely tighten them, but not tighten them. Okay, so now the issue is that, let me back this off here. So the issue is that, okay, so now I've guaranteed that the laser beam, it should be coming through this aperture to the other side. We'll measure that and optimize that in a second. What we haven't done is we have no control over the rotational. Let's see if I can loosen this a little bit. So far we haven't attempted to control the rotational degree of freedom in the system. So we need a way to do that. Now, so, you know, the role of an electro-optic modulator is to turn a laser beam on and off, or at least the way that TDTR works. Basically, this thing is just going to turn the laser beam on and off. That means that not only should the laser beam come through, but when the appropriate voltage is sent from, you know, the driver, or, you know, the combination of your driver and your function generator. So essentially, in our system, the way that we have it set up is that, you know, when our function generator is sending 0 volts, that should send 0 laser beam through this aperture. Basically, that's the off state. So the way that I'm going to adjust the rotation of this thing this way is by making sure that when this thing is rotated the correct amount, and, you know, my function generator is sending 0 volts, that 0 laser beam is coming through. Or it's actually impossible to get it to be 0, but what we're going to do is try and minimize it. So that's what I'm going to do now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a power meter just in front of our electro-optic modulator. You'll see that there is a laser beam coming through. Yes, you're seeing the reflection of it right now. And so now at this point I need to turn back on my driver, the you know, my Canoptics you know, amplifier, and the function generator. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically set, you know, even though this is a function generator, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so that it's basically sourcing exactly 0 volts. I don't know why this thing has a sweep on. So what I'm going to do is, it doesn't really matter what frequency it's set to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the amplitude and the offset of a square wave both to 0. So it's going to be sourcing 0 volts. I'll set the offset to 0 as well. So now there's 0 amplitude, 0 offset, means that the total thing is, you know, basically the output of this thing is just sending 0 volts up to my Canoptics driver. So now there's actually 2 things that we have to set up to make sure that that corresponds to 0 transmission. One of them, as I said, is the rotation here. So we haven't really tried to rotate the electro-optic modulator, but the other one that's actually far more important is actually the bias voltage that's on the Canoptics driver. So what happens is, you know, whatever voltage you send from your function generator, basically this thing is doing 2 things. What it's doing is, A, multiplying, you know, whatever signal you're sending there times, you know, some huge amplification factor to create a very large voltage over there, but it's also adding a bias voltage. And you can see that, like, right now this thing is using a bias voltage of about somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 volts. But that bias voltage is not necessarily, I mean, it's you have to actually set that. And the way that you set it is basically as part of this. So what I'm going to do is, you know, measuring the transmission here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and minimize the amount of transmission by messing with the bias voltage. I don't know if it's possible to hold this and see them at the same time. Can you hold this for me, Marcel? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this I'm going to mess with the bias voltage and try and minimize. So by turning this, I'll minimize the amount of transmission that we're getting right now. Now, you'll never be able to reach exactly 0, partially because the beam coming into the polarizing beams, or the beam coming into the EOM, is probably not exactly perpendicularly polarized right now. But we can get pretty low. Remember, this was like a 37 milliwatt beam, I think, before it went through the EOM. Okay, now you can see I've gone too far. Now I'm going back up in power, so I'll come back down to wherever the minimum is. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but somewhere in here is about right. So now I've got a fairly low transmission, you know, given a 37 milliwatt input on the other side of the EOM. And the next thing I'll do is I will I'm going to physically rotate this until the power on this meter is as low as I can get it. Let's see, I don't know where I can put this. I don't think you're going to be able to see this on screen. I'm just going to basically rotate it until I get the lowest voltage I can get. It shouldn't require a huge adjustment. Okay, you can see now I'm going back up. You can't see this, but I've been basically rotating it in the same direction the whole time. So I'm pretty close to the minimum right now. Let me just go back the other way. Okay, I think this is about right. So, okay, now both the bias voltage and the rotation of this thing are set to be as good as I can get it for zero transmission. So once I've got that in, I'm just going to lock this down. So that should be about as good alignment as I can get it. So now the electro-optic modulator is aligned. One other thing, so I mean, this is something you probably only have to do once when you first start your system. But one thing you need to do is figure out what voltage on your function generator corresponds to 100% on, or what's the highest transmission I can get. In a lot of electro-optic modulators, including ours, we actually cannot transmit 100% of the light, just because the voltage provided by our amplifier, this little canoptics thing, the amplification factor is not enough for us to fully modulate our electro-optic modulator. So you'll see that in a second. So let's try that. So this electro-optic modulator, I don't know if it says it somewhere. This thing will only, this is model 25A. There are similar models out there, but this particular one takes a voltage from 0 to 1 volt, meaning from your function generator. You can send from 0 to 1 volt. But basically, one thing you want to check is that whether 1 volt actually corresponds to fully on, or so in some cases, like we often operate our laser at a different wavelength, and it turns out that the ability of an electro-optic modulator to modulate depends on the wavelength. So at 400 nanometer light, for example, 1 volt is actually too many volts. At that point, the modulator will actually emit less. And in order to really explain that, I'd have to show you exactly how an electro-optic modulator works, which I'm not going to do, but basically you want to check that, let's say I just set an offset voltage. So this is just a DC. Essentially, we're going to just have a DC laser coming through, and we'll just pick up the DC signal. So what you want to check is basically that, let's say I set it to 0.5 volts DC. So that corresponds to about 11 milliwatts of transmitted power. What you want to check is that, when you keep going up, you want to check that the power keeps going up. So if I go to like 0.7 volts, it continues to go up. So now we're at like 18.7 milliwatts. And if I go to, maybe this is not high enough, but 0.8 milliwatts is 22. 0.9 volts is 25. And 1 volt in our system corresponds to 27.9. So you'll see that, like, as you go up in voltage, increasing the voltage becomes less and less effective at creating more transmission. So at some point you kind of poop out. So anyway, we're getting about 28 milliwatts of transmission on this system, and I guess the incoming light, if I recall, was about 36 milliwatts. So we don't get 100% transmission. In fact, we can't generate enough voltage to do that in our system. But if we had a better driver, if we had a driver that could do more voltage, we might be able to actually reach that. Okay, so with that, basically the electro-optic modulator is aligned at this point, and what comes next is basically, well, at least in our system, what we do here is we're going to bounce the beam on a mirror into our time delay stage. So that's actually a separate video. Aligning the delay stage is probably the second most hardest thing to do on a TDTR system. So I'll do that as a separate set of videos.